Hey guys, Rushy here, and welcome back to another video. Today guys, I'm going to be talking about what it's like to be late for a GCSE examination, what to do if you do find yourself late for an exam, and also is it worth turning up late for a GCSE. So without any further ado, let's get started. Out of all 18 GCSEs that I've sat, I was late for one, and that was a religious studies paper 2 examination. The reasons why I was late for that exam was firstly because it was an afternoon exam, and to give myself the best revision opportunities, I decided to stay home until lunchtime before heading to school for the exam. So therefore I wouldn't have known if the exam was intended to start early, and none of my friends would have been able to communicate with me because I was at home revising. The second reason why I was late was because the exam did in fact start early. I believe it was either meant to begin at 1:15 or 1:30. However, the exam started at just gone 10 to 1, I believe, because I think I arrived at school by 5 to, and the exam had already started 3 minutes prior, so I ended up being 3 minutes late to that exam. As I went down to the exam hall, I found the subject teacher for religious studies. She managed to get the attention of one of the exam invigilators to alert them that a pupil was late, so they got me into the exam hall. They did offer if I wanted extra time, and I did take advantage because I thought it was unfair that the exam started so early. I managed to get 3 minutes extra time at the end of the exam, so it all worked out good for me in the end. If you do find yourself late for an exam, firstly I advise that you make sure before you even set off for the exam which seat you're located in and which hall you're located in. The hall you're located in is the most important, but if you're late, even if you don't know you're going to be late, I'd always try to remember the exam seat so you can tell the exam invigilator when you're late, so they can quickly escort you to where your paper is without you having to fuss about an exam hall and disturb other students trying to get on with the exam as well. Also, I recommend you go down to the exam hall with your equipment in your hand. If you can as well, try and make sure you go to the toilet just before the exam, so you don't need to during the exam. Try to make sure that you're well fed. Bring a bottle of water with you, as long as it doesn't have the label on. And just if there's no teachers outside, luckily for me there was a teacher outside the hall, just quietly open the door to the hall and alert an invigilator, tell them why you are late and that you are late and meant to be sitting this exam. Also tell them which seat number you are if possible, if you know, and then they'll escort you then to take your bag and coat off and escort you to your seat. So, do I think it's worth turning up late for an exam? Absolutely, better late than never. If you're even half an hour late, maybe even an hour late to an hour and 45 minutes exam, get in those extra 45 minutes is better than nothing at the end of the day. It is a worst case scenario. It's terrible to be late for an exam, especially by so much, because obviously you've reduced your opportunities by a big amount, but if you're even half an hour late or even an hour late, don't just think it's no point turning up. You can still at least scrape a pass in that exam. It's not ideal, but it can happen. But what I don't recommend is turning up late to an exam 5 minutes before the exam's about to end, because you don't know if the exam started on time or not. It might have started a bit earlier, so you'll only have like 3 minutes left. By the time you've put your bags and everything away, the exam will already be over, and you will look a bit embarrassing being in the exam hall ready to start an exam that's just finished. So I think half an hour to an hour late, maybe an hour and 15 minutes late maximum, you can still be allowed to sit an exam and hopefully do the best as you can. From my personal experience, everything worked out okay for me in the end. I think the exam invigilators understood why I was late. I managed to do the exam relatively stress-free. It was a bit embarrassing at first, finding yourself like 3 minutes late, and I was a bit worried, but it all worked out good in the end. And yeah, I'll be doing a couple of more GCSE and Key Stage 3 related videos, even though I've already finished all my GCSEs. And yeah, can't wait to see you in the next one.